It's all happening, guys.
Hey, look at that digger in the back.
What's that? Look behind us here. We're breaking ground with our Growing Spaces greenhouse.
Yeah, it's not just a basic greenhouse. It's a big deal.
Yeah, we're not just growing tomatoes. This is going to be an alternate hangout, a year-round hangout in the wintertime. We're going above and beyond just your standard greenhouse to create something that's really going to add value to our property.
Yeah, so there's a lot of detail just in the initial foundation setup.
So for us, anything that's greater than 120 square feet requires a permit from the county. And that complicates matters because sometimes there's a backlog and you can't get your permit for several weeks. Also, we have really strict regulations because of our altitude and because of our climate. You know, we've got snow loads, we've got wind loads, and the greenhouse had to meet those. We actually had to get additional help from Growing Spaces to get an engineer to customize our blueprints, our plans, so that they meet their county requirements.
Right. So, and we'll go over kind of one of the initial foundation thing, what that involved in a later video as well.
Yeah. So permitting process, the permitting requirements, and then for us, because of what we're trying to achieve, making this a year-round usable living space, we had to go with like a geothermal climate battery to kind of use that ground air to keep the temperature more stable. And for us, that's requiring a deep foundation with ICF forms, similar to how we did our basement.
Yeah, in fact, we're using the same brand of ICF forms as well. So
back in the summer, late fall, you saw when we were starting to break ground, Brian was working with the tractor, but we ran into some trouble with some ledge, some stone that's inherently in the ground.
Right, so it comes out with our little backhoe, but that big giant excavator is going to make way easier, quick work of it.
So we could do the work ourselves. You know, we have a very capable Coyote CK 3510 anyhow. So we have a very capable machine. Brian did the entire excavation for the house and for the septic.
Right.
But this is a project that's got a little bit more stone than what we encountered in the initial excavation. So we're outsourcing.
Right.
Luckily, our neighbor, Hart Backhoe Services, and we've hired them to speed up the process for us with a big machine.
Yeah, his guy Thane is down in there right now doing the work. So it's nice to go to work and come home to work done.
Yeah. So yeah, you know, every time we do a project, it's either your time or your money, right? So you're kind of always making that decision. We have saved a lot of money doing the work ourselves. We've saved a lot of money. So now we're spending a lot of money to save time so we can get our project done.
Exactly. So, you know, our window of opportunity is really now until the end of September.
Yeah.
And so
we need that time to do the actual building of the greenhouse. So we want to save time on the excavation. Now we're pretty much got most of the snow behind us. We don't have any more, you know, frozen ground or anything. So this was the prime opportunity to get that excavating going.
So right now he's digging a 50-foot circle. That'll be the main platform or a grade of the greenhouse. And then from the center of that, he's going to dig a 38-foot by 4-foot deep circle where the foundation will actually the footings, walls, and then the geothermal system will go in the center of that. So, and then once we have the walls up, then we'll put the geothermal in, start backfilling with probably some material we'll get like sand, and then the rest, maybe a couple feet of that, and then the rest will be the natural material that we've dug out. So
I think the system is called a climate battery, which is the actual air duct tubing that we're going to be installing, and then the fan system to help circulate that air, so we'll have warmer air in the winter and cooler air for the summer when it gets really hot inside the greenhouse.
So it'll suck air from the greenhouse, hot air, move it down underground. It'll get absorbed by the soil during the day, and then at night that heat will then recirculate out. And then also during the day the cooler air comes out to replace the hot air. So
We want to tell you guys about the foundation. If you haven't seen our earliest videos, we did an insulated concrete form for doing our own forms for the basement and the foundation of the house. And we had a delivery earlier this week, and we'll take you over to where we're storing everything on the side of the shed and kind of tell you about those concrete forms. That's a lot of packages, guys. The whole length of the shed.
it's a lot of styrofoam.
But the thing is, they're not too heavy.
No, not at all. Just styrofoam.
It's all styrofoam inside, so I unloaded everything from the truck without Brian's help, all by myself.
All by yourself. See, it's nice to go to work and come home to work done.
Mm-hmm.
So one reason we picked the quad lock is because obviously we've used it before, so we know how to use it.
And the brand that we went with is Quad Lock.
Yep. So one reason why we use that, we chose this brand because we used it before.
Yep.
So we know how to use it. So that's pretty easy.
Kind of looks like Legos.
Right.
Kind of looks like Legos the way they stack. Yeah.
And there's differences between different manufacturers. So one reason I like the Quad Lock is because, as you see, that the styrofoam is 2 1/4 inches thick, and they're all packed together. So there's no volume. They're not pre-made. So some of the ICFs, the plastic piece that creates the width, is embedded into the styrofoam. Well, as you can imagine, you're paying shipping for a lot of air, right? Instead of just the material itself. I did get a quote from another company. It was like $2,500 just for shipping. We paid $200 for shipping on this one. So that's a huge difference. So most likely in the future, we're going to use Quad Lock again. But again, we know how to use it. And so that's the best choice was to go with the Quad Lock. Yeah, so the reason we're going with the ICF is insulative value, right? So we've got styrofoam on the outside and styrofoam on the inside. So the R value of this particular thickness of the foam is 22. So that's pretty substantial. Mm-hmm. Again, we're going down 4 feet underground to the footing. So that'll keep a lot of that really cold air from the wintertime outside.
And then there's one other major reason that we're going with ICF forms, and that's because we can do the job ourselves, and we don't have to do it all in one big shot.
Right, yeah, we're not renting forms to put this up, so and then trying to insulate it afterwards. So you do these up, you can see the thickness of the Quad Lock, 12 inches. So you just do one layer at a time. Put the track down initially, and of course you'll see the whole process later on, but you put the footings down, you secure the track to the exact diameter or the exact specifications, and then you start building up one row at a time. And you put your ICF down, and you put your spacers in there, and then you put your rebar in there, you go all the way around, and you start the next layer. So it's pretty nice setup. And
by the time we get to that point, hopefully the risk of snow is way behind us. Because I think a few years ago when we did the shed, we had to cancel our concrete pour mid-May because we got about 6 inches of snow. So that's always the project delayer in this part of the country. In the high country, you're always battling the weather. So.
And the shed, of course, is behind the trees, doesn't get quite the sun. Mm-hmm. Where we're putting the greenhouse, full sun. So if we do get some snow, it's the first area to melt. Yeah. So. Okay. Of course, it wouldn't be a good project unless I had to shovel snow off of it. So.
It wouldn't be Colorado Mountain living without a little bit of snow.
That's right.
For sure.
That's right.
So yeah, we're actually on schedule. I wasn't sure, with the permitting process and with the weather, if we'd ever get going before June, but here we are breaking ground for the second time, and we still got a week of May left. So yeah, feeling pretty good about it.
Yeah.
And our delivery for our Growing Spaces greenhouse is due the first week of June. So we'll be almost ready after we get our concrete forms ready.
Yeah, that's right around the corner.
Well, that's where we're at with the project, folks. It's all happening. We're all excited. We got materials. But now the next step After it's all excavated, it's going to be work for us.
That's right.
In the meantime, we're enjoying the moose have returned, and we've seen at least 6 different moose in the past week. So
Yeah, we had 4 along the driveway just this morning, all in a row.
yeah,
Eating
so
some grass.
you know summer's around the corner when the animals all come back. But anyways, hope you guys have a nice long weekend, and we will catch you next time. Colorado
right.
Mountain Living. We'll see ya.
Bye-bye for now.